Is this thing working? Hello? Alright boys and girls, what's going on? Back with another video today. Hope you're all doing well, and yes, I am holding a microphone. I realise this is probably the most unprofessional setup you will see on YouTube, but I think it's worth the sacrifice for a little bit better sound quality than my phone's camera. So I'm actually quite surprised I'm doing this video today, not gonna lie to you guys. I never thought I'd do this type of video just because it's been done so many times on YouTube and it's quite saturated, but I had quite a lot of requests for this video to be done, and I think this video is quite different to all the other ones out there because I'm really trying to focus on what I would do if I was in my early stages of lifting still and I didn't really know what to do at home during this quarantine, and I didn't have any access to any equipment either. I'm going to throw on screen now the whole program for this week. If you understand all the exercises and you know pretty much what to do, fair enough, go ahead and get straight into it. If you understand progressive overload and you know how to work out sets and reps and volume, then be my guest, go ahead, get on with this workout, and you can stop watching the video now. However, if you don't understand this workout or you want me to go into a lot more detail about your sets, reps, overall volume and your diet as well, make sure you watch the whole video right until the very end. So I'm going to go over some key points that you should probably hear before trying out this workout. Also, so I've left this workout quite generic, I guess you could say, because I kind of want you guys to improvise what you can and can't do. All of it is done with no equipment. The only thing you will need is a bag, and I'm sure all of you have access to at least a rucksack or a bag of some sort, or even a plastic bag would work and load it up with books and stuff to make heavy, or put in a water bottle full of water to add weight to it. Anything you can think of, just add some weight so we can add some resistance to our training. So yeah, boys and girls, now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys each of the exercises in detail with demonstrations. Then I'll meet you back afterwards here to kind of go over volume, sets, reps, weight, etc., how many weeks you should run this program, and just a bunch of other things that hopefully I can answer for you guys. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. We've just hit over 300 subscribers. I know that seems like such a stupidly small amount compared to all the other YouTubers on this platform, but I just want to say I am grateful. It means a lot that at least one of you is watching this video and taking some sort of value from it. If you're interested in this video and you want to see a lot of other videos like this and more interesting videos, then make sure you subscribe and check out my other videos. It would really mean a lot. Alright, yes boys, here are the very first exercise on the first upper day. So we're going to be doing some wide grip press ups. This is really going to activate the chest and get a nice stretch. So make sure you're fully going down, really stretching the pectoral muscle. You should feel it going just between your pec up into your deltoid. And make sure you get a nice full extension and really focus on squeezing the muscle at the top. Alright, for this next exercise we have got a bent over bag row. I nearly said barbell row then. So just load up the bag with more of a heavier weight and just really focus on driving with those elbows up and backwards, and really pinch those shoulder blades at the back and really try and engage your lats and get a nice squeeze in the back. And also make sure you're fully extending at the bottom to stretch out your back as well. Alright, and exercise number 3 is, I think it's called pike press. Essentially it's a variation of the press up, but we're going to focus more on the shoulders. So you want to kind of arch yourself so you're more or less about 90 degrees between your legs and your torso, and you want to really focus on driving with your shoulders. Go for a slightly wider grip again and just kind of focus on engaging your deltoid in this exercise. Because you're at an angle, you should be using your front deltoid a little bit more than your pec. Obviously your pec is still going to get involved, but just try and focus on using your deltoid. Exercise number 4 is a single arm side lateral raise for the medial head of the deltoid, which we're using a bag for. I'm using a rucksack here. I'm just grabbing the top of it. Just make sure you're keeping your arm relatively straight and you're focusing on going straight out with the side. A little cue I use for this is to point my pinky finger up and rotate my hand slightly to the sky. This will just help you really engage the side of your deltoid, and you should get a stronger contraction. I would also do about 15 reps on this just because I find this exercise works really well with time under tension. So kind of focus on holding it for a second, really getting that squeeze at the top, and adding a few more reps in I find beneficial for this exercise. Alright, so now we've got bicep curls. I'm using the duffel bag for this. You can use a normal bag too. Just grab it with both hands and it's basically just a bicep curl, more or less. So just keep the elbows nice and remain by the side of your body, and just try and focus on really getting that contraction at the top. A lot of these exercises are really mind and muscle connection focus, so really think about squeezing that bicep at the top, then bring it down slowly all the way down to flex your tricep at the bottom of the movement, movement, just so we're getting the full range of motion. And finally, for the first upper day, we have French press. So what you want to do is sit on a chair or tool. You can do it sat down on anything. You don't even have to do it sat down, actually. You can do it stood up. You want to grab the rucksack or the bag from the top of the bag, and you want to put it behind your head and just kind of bring it down slowly, so you're getting a stretch on the tricep at the bottom, then just exploding with your arms back up to the top, so you're really squeezing the tricep at the top of the movement. Now we're on to the first lower day. So you guessed it, we've got squats. So simple as load up the bag with a slightly heavier weight. Make sure it's nice and tight as well on your back, not like I had it, because you don't want it slipping around. I'm going to go for a wider stance squat on this. So go quite far out, wider than shoulder width, point your toes out, make sure your knees are following the direction of your toes. You don't want your knees caving in at all. And as you can see, we're getting full range of motion here. We're going right down below parallel. If you can't go below parallel, that's absolutely fine, no worries at all. Just go as low as you can go. And you'll see here I'm actually doing some tempo reps as well, so I'm slowing it down a lot, just kind of focusing on a slower eccentric, so I'm building up a little bit more fatigue in the muscle and tearing a little bit more muscle fibers, mate. Also, I understand, guys, that I haven't got many lower day exercises. I was quite limited on what I could do with obviously just the bag. I couldn't really think of any. If you guys got any more suggestions, make sure you leave them down in the comments for other people to see too. So what I just do instead is add an extra set onto your lower days than your upper days, just so you get a bit of extra volume in your legs, especially on the squat, because it's always good to reinforce those motor neuron pathways for when you go back to the gym. So here we have a slightly more risky exercise. We've got Romanian deadlifts on a deficit. So I'm just standing on a seat of a bench here. But you can do it stood up on anything. You don't even have to do it in a deficit. You can just do it standing up normally, but doing it in a deficit definitely does help. So here you just want to lower the bag down, keeping your legs relatively straight and trying to keep your lumbar, which is your lower back, straight. Not really what I was doing here, but do as I say, not as I do. Just making sure you're getting that stretch all the way down to the bottom with the hamstrings, and you're driving through with the hips at the top and squeezing the glutes to get the full contraction. Alrighty, next up is split squats. So again, I'm just loading the bag onto my back with a relatively heavy weight. So 1 foot forward, make sure you're driving through that heel, and you can kind of do a little bit of time and attention technique with this, so you don't fully extend at the top like I'm doing, and just keep the muscle continuously under tension, just so you wear out a lot quicker, which is nice to do, so you're not doing loads of reps on this exercise, and then switch legs and do the other one too. And last but very not least, we have calf raises, which you should never forget. As you can see, my calves are extremely small, so don't forget to do these. Do them for me if anything. So yeah, just load the bag onto your back with a little bit of weight. Find a little step or something. You can literally use the step at the bottom of your stairs in your house. If you live in a bungalow, then you might be a little bit screwed. You can still just do them standing up on the floor. You don't need to have the elevation, but obviously it helps because you can drop your heels down and stretch the calf, as well as go fully onto your toes and squeeze at the top. So yeah, this is another exercise I do a few more reps on, even up to 20 reps if you want to, just to really focus on that time and attention. Make sure you do this exercise nice and slowly with a nice pause at the top and a nice squeeze. You don't want to rush this one at all, and you just want to get the full range of motion. So the first exercise for upper day number 2 is a close grip push-up variation. So we're just going to bring that hand position in just inside of shoulder width, and we're just going to push all the way through, squeeze the chest at the top and really extend the triceps. This is going to work your triceps a lot more than the wide grip push-up, so you might find this a little bit harder because it's got a larger range of motion, and I've also just thrown the bag on this one for a little bit of added resistance. Next we've got the single arm bag row. So load up with a slightly heavier weight than normal. Just lean over so you're roughly 90 degrees to the floor. I'm just holding onto the bench here, and you just want to drive through the elbow with the bag and really squeeze your shoulder blade to get at the top. Make sure you're pulling with the elbow, not with your bicep. You want to really focus on squeezing your back and engaging your back, not your bicep for this exercise, and then just extend down to the bottom to get the full stretch on the lat as well. So next up we got a seated shoulder press. Make sure you're arching your back slightly, make sure your shoulders are retracted, not protracted, so you don't want them too far forward. I'm just going to hold the bag with a slightly heavier weight, bring it all the way down to the top of our chest if we can, and fully explode up and extend the triceps at the top. And this is going to mainly work the anterior deltoid, and as well as the triceps of course as well. So now we've got bent over lateral raises, posterior deltoid instead of the medial deltoid now. So same sort of situations, make sure your body is roughly parallel to the ground. I'm just leaning over on the bench here. Make sure your pinkies point to the sky and really focus on contracting the back of your shoulder, and you should feel a nice little squeeze on this. Again, this is another one I'd probably add a little bit of extra volume on. Go anywhere between 15 to 20 reps and just make sure you're really feeling this exercise because it is a very important one for posture. And next up we've got the single arm rucksack curl. So I'm just grabbing it by the top bit of the rucksack in this. Not a lot to say about this one. It's more or less the same technique on the double arm bicep curl. So make sure you're keeping that elbow nice and close to your side and you're really squeezing your bicep at the top. Alright Alright boys, we're on the last lower day now and we're starting with some rucksack front squats with a narrow stance. So this time we're trying to really activate the quads and not so much the posterior chain. So really just bring that stance in a little bit narrower. Try and get as much depth as you can, but again, it's not a big deal if you can't. And just really focus on kind of leaning forward a little bit and driving through the quads. So you should really feel this one in your quads a lot more than the wide stance squat. Next up we got the Bulgarian split squat. Personally, I don't use any weight for this because I have quite an imbalance. I kind of injured one of my ankles a while back, so I really struggle with just balancing on this exercise. But by all means, if this is piece of piss for you, just chuck the rucksack on your back, just add a little bit more resistance. Pretty much one leg up on the bench or on any high surface like a sofa or something like that, and just kind of keep the tension activated. So don't fully extend at the top. This your quads are constantly under tension and you're going to really build up that time of the tension. And the last exercise we have is of course calf raise again, because you can never neglect your calves enough. So I'm not going to go over this, more or less the exact same technique I spoke about in the last clip. So yeah boys, I hope you will have a better understanding of all the exercises in this little workout program now. Like I said at the start of this video, I'm now going to go over a few more tips and just general advice I have for running this program and just general advice for working out at home. So first of all, I understand this is only 4 days a week. It's quite hard to be creative with workouts, especially if you don't have any equipment at home. By all means, if you want to run this program for 6 days a week, you can just run the first upper and lower day straight after the middle upper and lower days. You can run it for 6 days a week. But if you're not really into going to the gym that often, you're kind of just doing it to stay fit, I definitely recommend doing 4 days a week. And it's important that on your rest days you have active rest days, so you're not just kind of sitting around doing anything. Now is a more important time than ever to make sure your cardio is good and you're healthy. So make sure you're going on small walks, a jog, whatever you want to do, even a bike ride, or just even walking up and down your stairs for a little bit, just so you're increasing your heart rate, getting blood flow going, and just trying to stay healthy in general. So I think it's just important to make sure you're having active rest days and not just not doing anything. So yeah guys, for each exercise I would go for around 10 to 12 reps unless I said otherwise in that little segment where I spoke about each exercise. And you kind of want to train to about 2 reps in reserve. So that means each set you don't want to go all out till failure till you can't do any more. You want to do it so you have about 1 or 2 reps left in the tank, because if you go all out till failure, you're just going to end up really blowing yourself out in the early stages, and you don't want to do that, and you're just going to make it difficult to progressive overload. But by all means, if you're on the final week of this program, week 4, week 5, however long you want to run it for, if you want to do a couple sets till absolute failure, be my guest and go ahead. If you're feeling confident, you're feeling good about the exercise, sometimes it is good to go to failure too, just not all the time. So yeah, I know this program seems quite basic, but I've deliberately kept it basic, obviously because there isn't a lot of variety you can use with no equipment. But I think the most important thing for this, guys, is to make sure you're progressive overloading. Essentially what that means is each week you're making it harder for yourself, so your body has to adapt and therefore grow. So for example, what I would say is if you're very new to this kind of style of lifting and resistance training, just start with 2 sets per exercise a week. So do 2 sets of 10 to 12 reps or more if I said so in the previous segment of the video, and just keep it really nice and simple. The next week you want to look at maybe adding another set. So in the second week you want to do 3 sets of each exercise, and then the week after that you can do 4 sets, and the week after that you can even go all out and do 5 sets on each exercise. I know it may seem like a lot, but obviously it's only 4 days a week, so I don't think it'd be too much volume for you guys to do. Or there are other ways to progressive overload too. You can literally just add more reps into your sets as well, although I wouldn't try to go too high into the rep range, as you kind of want to stay between that 8 to like 15 rep range, because that's kind of the muscle building rep range. If you go any higher, you're going to be kind of prioritizing muscle endurance, and that's not really what we want to do for bodybuilding. Or even just adding a few more books or another water bottle into your bag to make it heavier, so you're increasing the actual resistance of the weight. That's obviously progressive overload too. So just make sure each week you are making it more difficult for yourself, because that's just, you're following the very basic principles of linear progressive overload, and your body's going to adapt and therefore it's going to be forced to grow. And that is just the basics of any bodybuilding training, whether you're in the gym or not in the gym. It's just the absolute fundamentals to bodybuilding. So lastly guys, I just want to touch on diet a little bit. I think it's important when you're trying to gain muscle, you need to be in a caloric surplus. So essentially what that means is you need to be eating more calories than what your body needs to maintain its body weight, so therefore you're going to be putting on weight. I spoke about this in one of my previous videos, but I'll throw on screen now a website you can use. If you search up calorie calculator online and put in all your details and how active you are, it will give you a rough estimation of how many calories you need to maintain your body weight. What I recommend doing is eating that many calories for a week or two, weighing yourself at the start of the week and then at the end of the week, and seeing if you gain weight or not. Obviously, ideally, if you haven't gained weight, that means you've worked out your caloric maintenance, and then you want to be eating about 200 to 300 calories just above that. Not a crazy amount, because you don't want to be gaining too much body fat during this period, because obviously we can't be as active as we normally would be with our daily routine in terms of work and gym and stuff. But yeah, once you worked out your caloric maintenance, eat 200 to 300 calories just above that. You can even eat your maintenance calories and you'll still grow, I'm sure, but it's just a lot easier to do when you're gaining weight. It's a lot easier to progressive overload. They kind of work hand in hand with each other. So yeah, boys, I believe that's everything for this video. I hope you took some sort of value from this. I know quite a few people requested it, so there you go. I hope it wasn't too bad. Let me know how you get on with the training. If you have any other questions, drop a comment and I'll be sure to get back to you straight away. Or you can follow me on Instagram, which I'll leave a link to down in the description, and I answer all my DMs or any questions on there. I've also got other gym related content on there, which I don't really post on YouTube, which you can see as well if you do follow me. But yeah, boys and girls, I think that's all from me. Take care, have a good workout. Quarantine will be over soon and we'll be back in the gym. We'll be loving life again. So yeah, boys, take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.